He personally recognized them by name. Amen? And Jesus recognized that Satan has a kingdom. In 1 John 5:19, it tells us that his kingdom is this world. That's his kingdom. Amen? He not only believed in Satan and his troops, but he fought against them. He fought against them. Jesus spent about 25% of his ministry casting out evil spirits and demons. And 75 times in the Gospels, Jesus cast out evil spirits out of ordinary people. Amen. He realized how real Satan and his demons are. And we better realize it as well. Amen. We better realize it as well. They are real. We can't get the misconception that Satan is real or no longer active. He is very active, isn't he? He is real just like you and I are. Amen. Some say, well, I can't see him. You can see him every day. Amen. It is true that Jesus defeated and disarmed Satan on the cross. However, in the book of Revelation, chapter 20, the Bible tells us that Satan will not completely be completely bound up or destroyed until when the second coming of Christ, until he comes back. So Satan and his demons are still very active today. Time and time again in the Bible, it warns us to be what? Aware of our enemy. Ephesians 6, verse 11, 12. It tells us something. We heard it earlier. To put on what? The full armor of God. Let me ask a question. Would you ever leave your house half dressed? Or not dressed? Of course not. Amen. And many of us forget when we get up in the morning to put on what? Our spiritual clothing. Amen. Every day the forces wage war against us. You're not exempt. I'm not exempt. So it's important that we are protected. Amen. You wouldn't find a soldier go out to war with no weapons. Amen. We need to be covered with the spiritual protection and the authority. Amen. You can stand against the evil forces if you have your spiritual clothing on. Amen. We can fight darkness. You can't fight darkness with darkness. The best way to resist and overcome the spiritual enemy isn't by venting your anger and frustration in some fleshly way. Amen. I'm going to get mad at you because you said something I don't like. We need to put on our spiritual armor. Amen. So when you put on your clothes in the morning, put on your armor and pick up your sword. Amen. Don't get up without it. Amen. Amen. See, walking in peace is equivalent to putting on your shoes of peace. Wake up with peace in your heart. Amen. Walking in righteousness is putting on your breastplate of righteousness that protects your heart from what? Condemnation. Amen. Amen. Have you ever wondered how Satan can attack so many people in so many different places at the same time? But do understand that Satan doesn't have the same qualities as God. Amen. He is a created being, a fallen angel. Amen. He is not omnipresent. He can't be everywhere at the same time. So what does he do? He sends out his troops, his demons, to do some of his dirty work. Amen. What are demons? You know, sometimes we vision this ugly face or this ugly creature as a demon. Simply put, those are evil spirits who try to take people away from God and the truth. Fallen angels who rebelled against God. Amen? In Mark 3:22, Jesus called Satan what? The prince of demons. The prince of demons. We need to open our eyes. And we need to realize that we are in a spiritual warfare with Satan and his demons. Amen? So we need to stand up, fight in the name and power of Jesus Christ. Amen? We need to stand up and stop giving in to them. Amen? So many of us get defeated by the enemy because we let them. Amen? It's time to stand up. You are a child of God. Do you believe it? But how do we do that? Well, I'm glad you asked. See, Satan, he's a deceiver who's out to do what? Mislead us. He's out to mislead us. Satan is a tempter who tempts us to sin. No one is safe from his united sin. We're all under attack. He's after you and he's after me. Amen? But we need to be alert and prepared. We need to be able to see it coming. Amen? There are some strategic plans that we can use to conquer Satan and his troops. There's a way. Amen? The first thing we need to do is what? We have to turn to God for victory. We can't do it on our own. Amen? You're not strong enough to do it on your own. Over and over in the Bible, it instructs us to rely upon God to deliver us from our enemy. Amen? Matthew 6, verse 1 through 13. And everybody should know that. The Lord's Prayer. Amen? Where Jesus taught how to pray. And particularly in verse 13, it says, lead us not into temptation, but do what? Deliver us from the evil one. And according to this verse, who can deliver us? Our Father in heaven. Amen? So who do we turn to? To your next door neighbor? To your best friend? To your spouse? No, we need to turn to God. Believe this, that all human beings have tendencies, they have evil tendencies one way or another. But God will give us more and more grace to deal with these tendencies. Amen? Amen. All our own trying to overcome your own wrong motives will bring what? Much frustration. If you try to fix them on your own and you leave God over, guess what happens? It gets worse. And sometimes people say, I wonder how I end up here again. Well, did you call on God? You're going to walk in a circle, amen? Nothing will ever work until you learn to trust God's grace. Nothing. You can't do it. Your neighbor can't do it. Your mom can't do it. Your friend can't do it. Only God can. Amen? In James 4:7, it tells me to submit ourselves then to God. Resist what? The devil, and he will do what? Flee. He will flee from you. But you must turn to God. Amen? You can't turn to your neighbor. But before we can resist the devil, we have to submit to God. If we want to defeat Satan, we have to rely upon God. I can't say this enough, amen? Because we rely so much on our own. Well, I can do this myself. Who do you think you are telling me what to do? Amen? The reason we need God's strength and help is because we as humans are powerless when it comes to battling Satan and his troops alone. Amen? We can't. See, when you're under attack, meaning that you might be tempted to sin. You might have an evil thought that comes across your mind. You might be tempted to do wrong. Amen. Well, let me just take this over here. Nobody will notice I did it. The first thing you need to do is go to God in prayer. Ask Him. He wants you to come to Him. Ask Him to help you to defeat this enemy. Amen. If you're angry and you're about to say something ugly, well, not me. Well, amen. Go to God in prayer and ask for help before it even comes out your mouth. Amen. If you're lusting over after anything that you know you shouldn't, go to God in prayer first before you do it. Even think about it. Amen. If you're about to gossip about somebody, pick up that telephone. No, pick up this word. Look up. Call on God. Amen. Don't call on your friends. Don't call on your neighbor. You're about to spread a word you don't know about. When we ask Him, He will give us the strength to overcome that temptation, that sin, the tempting thought. We need God's assistance to win the war against Satan and his troops. We can't do it alone. Amen. Number 2, to defeat Satan, we have to do what? You have to resist him. You have to resist him. You can't give in to him. Amen. James 4:7 says, submit yourself then to God. Resist the devil and he will flee from you.